Hi. Just trying to get the camera correct. There's a lot of glare from here. Okay, good. I mean, the sun is gonna go down at any point, and then this will all be black. Yeah. I just made some coffee. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Just want to make sure I have all of my things ready to talk about. I think I got all of the stuff ready. How's everybody's Saturday been so far? On Instagram, I was able to put a filter on my face, and I am really bummed that I can't do that right now. Oh, that's good. Your Saturday's been chill. Mine's been pretty chill too, except for the cat scratched me. So ignore the polysporin I have put on my neck because the cat tried to dismiss my love. Yay! Are we at 7 o'clock? Let me see. Yay. Awesome. Cool. I think it might take a little bit of time. Hi. I'm not talking to you. Might take a little bit of time for folks to come on in and join us today. But yeah, welcome to a special episode of Knitlib, the podcast. It's episode 50, which is pretty cool. I decided to film a live episode this time because I've been home sick for the last forever, it feels like. And I kept meaning to record an episode, but I either haven't been feeling up to it, and the idea of sitting down and editing something is just like not something I really want to do. So I decided to set up like a live situation to kind of, yeah, make it easy on me so I don't have to edit anything, and then we can kind of chill and hang out and all that stuff. Earlier today, I did a Instagram live with Mackenzie, who hosts the M to the Third podcast, and she's M to the Third on Instagram, and we chatted for like 2 hours. It was really fun. So this will be hopefully still as fun, but yeah, it's just gonna be me. It's not like 2-on-2 type of thing. Yeah, it's too bad you can't do that in YouTube. Can you do that? I don't even know if you can do like split screen type of thing. But anyway, yeah, that's what my Saturday's been so far, has just been like knitting and doing dishes and then hanging out on Instagram Live. I will apologize in advance. My nose will probably get really runny at a certain point, and I'm coughing periodically. So just know that we have this barrier between us in the virtual world, that my germs will not get to you. So, yeah. Hello. More people are coming. Hi. So yeah, the idea for this episode, what I'm hoping, it's going to be really informal and really low-key, is I want to chat about some of the projects I'm working on, and then some of the books I've been reading, and some of the stuff I've been sewing and all that stuff, and just kind of just generally shooting the shit is what basically we're going to be doing. And yeah, hopefully if you've been home for the last little while and you know, you're practicing physical distancing. I'm not calling it social distancing because that makes me feel lonely. But if you're practicing physical distance from folks, that's a good thing. So hopefully little virtual things like this kind of make it cool, and kind of like you can hang out without having to leave your house and feel like you're a part of something. That's what it kind of felt this afternoon, which is kind of cool. But as you arrive, please say hello, because it will pop up on my screen here. I'm just using my phone. So yeah, your chats will pop up for me to see, and stuff. But I guess I will start off with, I don't even know how I start off all my episodes. I don't know. Does anybody know? But yeah, if you're coming and joining, then you already know that I'm Susan, and I've been sick for forever, and I'm coming to you from my crafty, hi Sheila, coming to you from my little slightly messy but very lived in and used craft room in the apartment that I share with my other half, who's sitting on the couch doing computery things, trying to see what he's watching on TV. It may or may not be Ancient Aliens, which is like one of my favorite shows too. Yeah, and it's a really wicked cold day out there today. So apologies for the glare of all of this out here. It's not actually that bright outside, but it is snowy. I think it finally stopped snowing. It's about -20 Celsius or something like that. It's just ridiculous for March, very unusual. So it's a good day to stay inside. I'm drinking a cup of coffee, which is really good. And it's only my second cup of coffee of the day, and I know it seems kind of nuts to drink coffee at 7 p.m., but that's just the way that I'm going to work today, because I took a nap this afternoon, so I'm not quite as bright-eyed as I'd usually be. Yeah, and because I've been home for so long, it's like we keep my schedule is completely screwed up. So I end up staying up really late, which is not good. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into some knit stuff. How about that? I'm wearing a finished object. that I did when I was homesick in February. So the sickness that I have right now is the remnants of what I caught in February. And when I was home and I was kind of like, oh gosh, I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything, what am I gonna do? And I'm not very good at being sick, and so I decided to cast on for another sweater. And this is the Ursa sweater. You can see. Yay, Ursa. Ursa sweater. I really love it. The Ursa sweater is a sweater pattern by Jackie Cieslak, and this is the third Ursa sweater that I've made. And I love this pattern. It's an incredibly size inclusive pattern. You don't need to make it cropped. I like making it cropped. I probably could have afforded to make it just maybe about an inch longer, but you know, whatever. And this version that I did, I held together 2 yarns to create this marling effect. And the yarns I held together were, and I saved the labels, I held together the purple that you see. Let me just do that. So there's purple, and then that really lovely chartreusey green. And so the purple is an old yarn I had in my stash from, oh God, I don't even know how old it is. It must be 4 years old, I think, maybe 5, because I did pick it up at stash, but it's like a super, super old label. Like, it's like all old and, anyway. This is Diamond Luxury Collection. It's pure wool, superwash wool, and it's just like commercial yarn. Think Cascade 220, but I think that they had this yarn at the knitting store maybe before they had Cascade 220, possibly. I'm not too sure, but it's an old yarn. I had intended to knit a different kind of sweater with it, I think, or doing something with it, and it never panned out. So I'm using that, and I'm holding it together with Brooklyn Tweed Loft. So that's their fingering weight. And it's in the colorway Sap. So that's the really gorgeous, really lovely green color. I think I have another, yeah. I have a little bit of it left right here. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's one of the wonder sweaters. It like looks good on every single person who wears it. It's kind of amazing. And it's so much fun to knit, and it's so fast to knit, which is why I've made 3 of them, and I'll probably make another one. It's gonna get to the point that I can just make these without actually following instructions, I bet. This is that Brooklyn Tweed. Look how lovely this color is. I love this yarn. I had initially got a sweater's quantity of this stuff to do the honeycomb sweater. Was it not honeycomb? It's like wool and honey, I think, by Adria. And I got most of the yoke done, and then I just gave up, like I'm prone to do. So yeah, so I just used that same yarn and held it together with this worsted weight one. And the result is that because this Ursa sweater calls for like a bulky weight yarn, and I have knit it once with like Cascade Eco Wool. I knit it again with, or no, the first time I knit it, I held two strands of DK weight yarn together. Hi! Nice to see you again. I held it together with, yeah, it was 2 2 DK weight yarns held together, and then the result was pretty good, but oh my gosh, it was like I made armor. It was pretty thick and stiff, which I think other folks that have done that, I think Tommy of Squirrel Pie Productions, that's where I got the inspiration from, because that's how she knit her Ursa, and it does make a pretty dense, like, chest warmer chest protector of a sweater. And then when I did the one out of Cascade Eco, that one worked out really, really well, and it's like a nice weight and everything, but I wanted to use more of my stash, and so that's when I settled on doing marling. And instead of holding two DK together, two worsted together, I held that loft, which is a woolen spun fingering weight, with the worsted weight. And the result, because woolen spun yarns are magical and will kind of be whatever weight you want them to be, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it worked out really well. And so I have this like sweater that has a lot of drape to it, and yeah, I washed it or blocked it, and it blocked, it grew probably by 2.5, 3 inches or something, I think, when I blocked it. And yeah, I really love it. Yeah, aim for non-armored fabric for sure. I mean, I really like the armored fabric because what I was doing is wearing it underneath my, I have all of my jackets for the most part are all cropped. And so I have this really great denim jacket that's like a reboot of a jacket, like a denim jacket from the 90s, from the Gap. So it has like that kind of like big 90s puffy sleeve and like cinches in at the waist. And that that armored sweater works perfectly under there because it adds like, and it meant that I could wear it all through the fall and be really, really warm. So it was actually very practical for me. This one is a bit more kind of work appropriate, although I will say as I'm sitting here, I'm getting like really warm wearing it, but you know, whatever. So yeah, that's the sweater I'm wearing. If you haven't knit this pattern yet, get on it. There's a little bit of single brioche in there, in the detailing down the sleeves and the detailing down the front and like down the back. It's really fun to do if brioche isn't your thing, but this brioche is really approachable. She does have another version of the pattern called Ursa Minor that you can just do the same shape and everything. It just doesn't have any of the brioche. So that's an option if you're into it. I'm probably gonna make another one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is the most recent finished object. I really love it. I have other knitting on the Geo right now, and that is, yeah, because you know, all the memes that have been going around. Oh, I feel like this is like super bright. How can, if I hit, oh my gosh, there's filters on this? What? But they don't have the slime face filter. Man, never mind. Yeah, sorry about this being super bright. Can I change it? I don't know. What if I just turn my lamp down? Ooh, that's a bit better, hey? Okay, there we go. That's a little bit better. I don't know, I apologize for the glare, everybody. Okay, so yeah, all the memes that have been circulating on Facebook. Oh, okay, good, the lower light. Okay, what if I turned it off? Let's see, this is all trial and error. If I turned it, ooh, good. This whole thing's gonna fall. Okay, that's too dark. Okay, that's a bit better. I would pull the blind down here, but the blind is broken, and if I pull it down, it'll probably fall off. There's a lot of things in here that we need to fix, but home fixer-uppers are not our jam. Yay, okay, thank you. Thank you, Harmony. Is it Harmony or Hamony? I didn't see. You're too far away. My glasses aren't good enough. Yeah, so I have a couple of other knitting projects that are that I started. And one of them being, let me show you, which bag is it in? Okay, it's in a knot bag. Ooh, that's dangerous, that needle sticking out. Oh God, it's one way to lose an eye. So this is a knot bag, the first knot bag that I ever made, out of IKEA fabric and like leftover denim on the inside. But I decided to start knitting a shawl. Amazing. And I never knit shawls ever, but as I was looking through my like accessories basket in the closet, realizing, you know, I really should knit another shawl because I only have one shawl that I knit, that I wear all the time. And it's a, what is it, a Garter Goodness shawl by Stephen West. And this one, and because I really love the size of it, I know. You knit shawls all the time, Sheila. Oh gosh, the demons are coming back. So the yeah, the shawl I'm knitting. I was going shopping through my Ravelry stash to look for cool patterns, and because I didn't necessarily wanted to buy a new one, and I have too many patterns in my Ravelry library. So I decided on Andrea Mowry's Free Your Fade, because you can be sure I am not knitting another. Hi, Sonia. You can be sure I'm not going to knit a Free Your Fade, or not Free Your Fade, Find Your Fade, because I tried to knit one of those and I'm burnt out fast. So I'm doing a Free Your Fade, which takes a lot less thinking. And this is what I have so far. This is almost the end of section 1. It's like a weird triangle. Ooh, let me see, I didn't see that. Oh no. How do I check the comments? I just saw you make a comment and then you disappeared. Shoot, sorry, I didn't see that. Ask it again, please. It just like came up and then disappeared. Yeah, and I promise I'll look at the screen instead of looking away again. This, oh yeah, like a band. So it's basically all garter stitch with, it's 20 rows of garter stitch, decreasing on one side, or decreasing on this side, and then increasing on this side to create this, you're basically knitting on the bias. And yeah, 20 rows of garter and then 1 eyelet row. Then you start fading in your colors, and I'm just working through a great big bag of random weird fingering weight scraps that I made a few months ago. And inside that big bag of scraps was this pink yarn right here. This is a fingering weight superwash merino. Yeah, superwash merino with nylon content. This was stuff that, oh gosh, that's rude. That was yarn I dyed in one of my yarn painting workshops. And it's bright, 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 crazy pink with kind of a gold color through it. Such a good color. I have a pattern. Oh, thanks. Oh yeah. Little bowls, that's the best. Things are, I wish I could crochet little bowls. Like they're way too, like my cat would just take them and make them his if I had any crocheted bowls around. And they'd just be covered in cat hair, like everything else in my life is. Yeah, this pink, it's so good. And I just love, it was just making me so happy when I was knitting on it. And then I started to like naturally get bored with doing the pink, so I have started fading. And you can see starting to fade. Oh, my gauge got all wacky up there. I'm fading into this other scrap stuff Oh, that's a good idea. Hang them on the wall. That little cat is pretty intrepid. Yeah, it's amazing. I caught him climbing up here, and he actually had a skein of yarn in his paw. Like, and I'm like, what do you think you're doing? You're not getting into that shenanigans. We've had you for a year. You've been a part of our family for a year, and you have never done that. And cheeky, cheeky cat. This is the yarn I am fading it into. This is leftovers from a pair of socks that I made. This is Olan, I think, out of Ireland. And just their like normal sock base. And I can't remember what the colorway is. If it's like Jinx, maybe? I could be wrong. I don't remember. But the colorway is just so great. It's like these blues and then those kind of like goldy colors type of thing in there. I think it's gonna look really awesome. And then other colors I have this is gonna blow out completely. It's yellow. It's, yeah, oh my gosh, sorry, put on your sunglasses, everybody. This is like half a skein, I think, of banana legs by Hedgehog Fibers. And this is theirs in their sock base. And I knit a pair of shorty socks out of these. And so this is the leftover bit. So I'm gonna use that in there too. And then I have this other stuff, this other blue. This is, what was this? Because I'm pretty sure this was an over dye that I did. Oh yeah, thanks. I know, they're pretty subtle, aren't they? This was an over dye. I think that this was yarn, maybe I got it from Knit Picks, maybe? And I didn't really like the color of it, so I over dyed it in blue in a, like doing solar dye on the patio. So I got this like lovely kind of turquoise blue. And then this is a Ching Fiber single in this like great, crazy seafoam, really intense neon green. So I think that all of those are gonna go really well together, and I'm gonna add more or maybe repeat the colors or something like that. You can kind of see them all there. Oops. And yeah, because there's no, I'm not really following the whatchamacallit, like the pattern where it says, okay, here, this is where you're gonna fade and blah, blah, blah. I'm just kind of fading whenever I feel like it, and when I get bored with a color, I'll just fade it into a new one. So I might end up bringing colors back and have stripes or something like that, which will be kind of fun. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to knit, I'm ambidextrous with my knitting. Sometimes I throw and sometimes I pick. So sometimes I have the yarn in my left hand and sometimes I have it in my right. And that is a leftover from when I broke my wrist about like 9 years ago. And so I had to teach myself how to pick more effectively because I couldn't hold the needle properly in my right hand. I shouldn't have been knitting at all, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, I'm trying to get my gauge better with picking, and it's working. This sweater here, I knit this entirely by picking, and that was pretty fun because I find doing brioche is a lot faster and a lot easier for me if I'm picking. So yeah, I like that, but it does make my wrists a little tired and stuff. Yeah, you totally can't keep a good crafter down. This, no matter how hard they try, they can't. This coffee is great. I went to the grocery store yesterday. This is an aside. And because of all of the COVID-19 like stuff, everybody has been kind of panicking and running to the grocery store. And I read a good analysis of that. And it was just kind of like, why are people keep buying toilet paper and people are just going nuts in the grocery store? And the analysis was saying that people are just realizing how they're not prepared to stay home for long periods of time. And like, we didn't need to go to the grocery store necessarily. We had enough stuff at home to last like a week if we needed to. But we're running dangerously low out of coffee, and that's a big no. You can't run out of coffee. You can't run out of coffee, and you can't run out of cheese. That's like the two important things. So that's what I ended up going to the grocery store. Oh, my wrist is fine now. Like, yeah, I don't wear a brace. Sometimes I wear, like if my wrist gets tired, or when the weather's changing, so I can feel it in the joint. When there's like pressure changes or humidity changes, I can feel it. I decided to, I usually will wear, what is it, the kinesiology tape, just tight across my wrist right there to act as a little bit of support, and I find that that's all I really need. But yeah, my wrist is feeling great. My elbows, I still have nerve damage in my elbow, so if I'm holding my arm up like this too long, or if I'm looking at my phone for too long, I feel it. My fingers will start to go really numb, like my hands will fall asleep really fast. So I have to remember to not do that. But other than that, they feel great. Thank you for asking. Anyway, this coffee I got 2 bags of coffee, good coffee. And yeah, we're set for at least another week because we have 2 bags of coffee. We drink a lot of coffee. Okay, the other thing. Oh, it's in comfort out of the queue. Yeah, some of us will be home for quite a while. I've been home since Monday afternoon, and I don't think I am going to go back to work until Wednesday at the earliest. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do a full 14 days away from work, because I'm just trying to get well again. But for sure, I might go back to work on Wednesday, but Monday, Tuesday, I'm definitely not. I'm still going to avoid everybody and everything. And hopefully, I think a lot of other people are doing the same. And if you have the ability to work from home, that's a really good thing. Yeah, and just do fun little videos like this. Let me show you some more knitting stuff. I need to find the bags. Is it this one? Yes. So the next work in progress that I've been carrying around, yes, it's in here, is a Rose City roller, which is a shorty sock pattern. Look at that. It's the same color as my nails pretty much. I am really into this Rose City roller. One thing I did realize, isn't it cute? Like, these socks are the best. Everybody should knit Rose City rollers. It's a free pattern. It's by, I can't remember the name of the person it's by, but I know her handle is Orange Knits. So it's just like a pretty simple, yes, it is super fun. Pretty simple sock pattern with a rolled top. I made the mistake, because I'm trying to come up with a better, gauge for my knitting, because I find my sock knitting, it ends up being really loose right now for some reason. So I usually always knit my socks on a 2.25 millimeter needle, and I thought, okay, let's go down to a 1.75 to see if I can tighten it up. But I totally forgot that I had gone down that low. Oh no, they closed the library in your town. Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time before they close the library here, if they do. I don't know if they will, but they've shut down a lot of other services that are happening within it. So they might end up closing the library, in which case I can't go to work anyway. Anyway, I cast on with, I was like, why the hell is the rolled part like so freaking tight? And it was because I had knit the first part on a 1.75 millimeter needle. And then when I switched to these, to my shorties, I didn't switch to like a tiny shorty because I don't have a tiny shorty. The tiniest one I have is a, whatchamacallit, like a two millimeter. I keep saying milliliter. So suddenly it's grown. Oh well, that's okay. So I know what I did, and I think for the next sock I'll do the same, and knit it small up here, because that way it'll like stay nice and snug around my ankle. This is the 64 stitch size. I have a really narrow foot, so I thought the 64 stitch would be great. And one thing I did do though, yeah, I know Toronto Public Library, they closed all of their libraries, and the libraries in Montreal are closed too. Which is a good, like Toronto for sure, because I know Ontario I think has the highest cases of COVID-19 in Canada. Alberta has 29 confirmed. Newfoundland still has 0. So my whole theory of Newfoundland being the best place to live during an apocalypse is yay for all my family still out there. But yeah, I made the heel flap a lot longer. So typically when you do a heel flap down, you would do like, if I did 64 stitches around, my heel flap would be 32 rows, about that. Yeah, 32 rows. Is that right? Yes. So it would be salvage stitches, you'd have like 16 salvage stitches on either side. It's like all works out in ratios, right? And so I decided to do, I think I did my heel flap for 50 rows. And I really like that because it allowed for a really, the gusset is really long, so it's great for my foot that has a high instep. So yay, that was a good move. I have stitch marker. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little banana. And then I have a progress keeper here. It's an old one that I made with just like a cool charm back when I was into making my own little progress keepers out of fun little things I found. Yeah, I really liked this bead. It's like a really pretty purple. I love purple. The yarn that I'm using is, oh, you also knit on a 1.75 mil. Don't they feel like they're weapons when you knit them on needles that small? Like, these needles are sharp as shit. Like, I'm afraid of hurting myself with them. It's like the type of needle that if you were to fall on it, I'm pretty sure you'd puncture yourself pretty bad. Yeah, this yarn is bonkers. Oh yeah, 42 rows minimum. That's smart. That's SMRT. That's smart. I like it. This yarn is from Mineville Wool Project. It's their, what is it? Merino. It's a merino nylon base. It's not superwash though, I don't think. Can't remember. I had chosen this to knit another pair of socks, but ripped it out like 3 times, and I finally settled on this Rose City roller, and I think this is the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Yeah, this is my sock that I am working on. Lives in my bag, in my purse. The project bag right here is one that Joy made, and from her shop, or not Joy didn't make it, her husband made it. So they have a shop called Cabinet of Curios, and so Joy is the host of the Anxious Knitter podcast, whose podcast is really great. And if you're looking for something to binge watch while you're stuck at home practicing social distancing, I recommend watching her podcast from the very beginning. But yeah, they were selling these really cute project bags. I know, isn't she great? She's the best. And I really love this mushroom one. And it's such a great high quality project bag. Oh yeah, super weapon quality. Why did they let me on a plane with them? I don't know. They obviously don't know how. I think knitters would probably be more dangerous without their needles, because we have no way to channel our anger. I'm gonna drink a little bit of water here in my cool mug. It's from Newfoundland. It says, let me get it, best kind. All right, next on my on my works in progress is a sweater I cast on a while ago, but because I haven't knit on it in a little while, because I haven't had the brain space for it, I think I'm actually going to rip it all out and start again, so that I can start on a better foot, because it requires a lot of attention, and I haven't been able to give it that much attention. So there's a lot of things happening in it, and it's living in this. Is it in here? Yes. It's living in this project bag. It's the library book project bag from Knitty Pie, who's doesn't sell bags that often online. She's local to me, and I picked this up at, I never go to yarn festivals, and the one and only time I went to Fiber Shindig here in Calgary, I picked up this bag from her. Yay! Yay! Oh, hi Karina, I didn't see you in here. Hello. Yeah, look, I love this bag. It's my favorite one, and this fabric makes me giggle because it's like all library related stuff. Yay. So what I have in here, yeah, it holds a ton. And like, it's great because like you fold it down and then it's a nice little bucket. And what I love about it, which not a lot of project bags this size have, is just like a little pocket right there. So in my pocket, I have Post-it note thingies, which were very much a requirement for this pattern. And then I also have like the needle, like the T-pin that tightens my needle tips. Anyway, the pattern that I'm working on slowly but surely is, oh my gosh. Sorry for all the noise. It's the water bearer pattern. Oh, look, you can see how cold it is. When I hold it like this, you can see out the window. Look at that. Where is that coming from? I don't even know where that's coming from. Crazy. It's very cold outside. Anyway, the water bearer, so good. It's another Jackie Cieslak pattern. Here's another image of it on her beautiful mom. Oh my gosh. So this is a little bit longer here. This pattern, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I need to knit that because it's based, it's called the Water Bearer because it's meant to, it pulls inspiration from the zodiac, specifically Aquarius, and I'm an Aquarius, so I really wanted to knit it. And because I've knit so many of Jackie's Ursa sweaters, I'm like, okay, I love her pattern writing style. I find it incredibly, like, she's really thorough, and all of her patterns are just a joy to read. There's no excess information there that you don't need, and I really love her patterns. So I picked up a skein of the yarn that I'm using. Ooh, right here. Can we see? The yarn that I'm using is Ancient Arts, Fiber Arts, and it's their DK base, and the colorway is Jasper, I think. Lake Louise. The colorway is Lake Louise. So it's this like gorgeous blues and greens in there, kind of like if you ever go to the Rocky Mountains here in Western Canada and around Lake Louise, like the water is this color. It's this bright blue, which is really beautiful. And here is, whoops, oh my gosh. It's like the most insane sweater I've ever tried to knit ever in my life. Maybe I won't rip it out, but I do have to figure out where I am in it because I have no idea where I am in the pattern. But here it is so far. It's like intense brioche on the side. Intense brioche, you kind of do provisional cast on type of thing, and then you're doing brioche out this way in two different ways, and then you have to like pick up the back of the shoulders, and they have inset sleeves, and it's like weird knitting gymnastics origami that you're doing with making this. And excuse me, yeah, brioche, you know, I have been afraid of brioche unnecessarily for a long time. And if you feel like you want to get into brioche, I suggest going with a Jackie Cieslak pattern, because I know for this one, she has like a headband pattern that kind of builds up your skills so that you're able to take on knitting this stuff. I did not do that, and I just jumped in and did this, like suffered through figuring out how to do decreases and stuff in brioche, which I think I might have to go and do again because I don't remember how to do it. It'll come back to me, I'm sure. But yeah, brioche is just so squishy and lovely and so great. Yeah, but I still think, I don't know, I'm gonna have to sit down and pick this up again. Yeah, and Sheila, you would know how good brioche is because you teach the brioche classes, don't you? I think you do. Or could I be wrong? Who else teaches brioche? Can't remember. But yeah, you're a brioche queen. You know what it is. I find knitting brioche, I find it much better if I'm picking. I find it more annoying if I'm throwing when I'm knitting. So it's like, the sweater is knit almost entirely knit continental, except for the pearls, and then I don't bother purling continental. Oh look, I was looking around for my globe progress keeper and I couldn't find it. It's attached to this thing. Isn't that funny? Yeah, this pattern, the Water Bearer, this is definitely, and I feel like it's an advanced knitting pattern because she asks you to do a lot. Yeah, I know, it's definite water vibes, hey? This is like what I wanted. It's, there are a lot of things going on in this sweater and a lot of things you have to be mindful of because the brioche goes down the whole, like it goes around the back and it goes like right down the front. And because brioche knits up at a different row density than stockinette will, you have to compensate for that by knitting short rows into the stockinette to make the stockinette longer, so it fits the brioche. She makes more sense of that in the pattern, but yeah, it's like I think I need to pull this out and try it again so that I get the brioche shaping, the rhythm of that, so I don't need to be looking at the damn instructions all the time, because I think that's what's tripping me up, is that I have to keep looking at the instructions. And if I can just get into the rhythm of just doing it, I have this like fluff on my sleeve that's like driving me crazy. Watch now, my sweater's gonna fall apart. Yeah, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty into that. I think the lighting is getting a little bit better now, guys. Is the lighting getting a little bit better? It's definitely cold outside. That weird exhaust is coming from somewhere. Where is it coming from? I don't know. Is it coming from this building? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the lighting is better now. So that's living in here. I will eventually continue knitting on that, but it does require a lot of brain space. So I'm thinking maybe I might come to it later on when I don't need to think as hard. Other knitting projects. I have one last one I will share with you. That's inside this other knot bag. And this one is one I finished, and I think next week, if I end up being home again next week, I will sit down and I will knit the mate to this, because this is the final iteration of the trigger mitt pattern that I'm working on called Soft Offering. And I have shared this before, the first iteration I did of it, where I knit them in Nova Scotia over Christmas. And there were a lot of fit issues with that one. And so I brought it to the knitting shop, and I got everybody that was there at the time working, I got them all to put the mitten on, and would definitely not do that now. Isn't that funny when you think about, I'm not gonna think about that. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I got some feedback from them, particularly M. They gave me some really good feedback on what, like, if it was their mitten, what they would do, what they wished it would happen. And it was like some tips I didn't even think about. So it was really great. If you're working on your own knitting patterns or crochet patterns, definitely bring them out into the world. And if you have a knitting shop or friends that will give you honest feedback, getting them to try things on and just be like, what do you love about this? What do you wish you would could change? And it's really valuable information. But yeah, this is, oh, I love it with the sweater. Haha. So this is the first one. It's so weird looking, isn't it? I look like a turtle. Yeah, here we go. Soft Offering. I haven't sewn in any of the ends, so they're sticking out a little bit. We have a long cuff, 2x2 rib. I know, E.T. Elliot. The one difference I did with this, there were a couple of differences. I lengthened the space between the thumb and the index finger, and I'm trying to figure out a way, because everybody's hands are shaped differently, and there's no I haven't been able to find any kind of sizing chart or anything that will give me the distance, like between here and there. On my hand, it's about 2 inches from here to here, roughly. But everybody's hands are different, right? So I figured that out for me, and then trying to figure out wording and stuff for other folks to make it. And then separated for the index finger, made the index finger a little wider in circumference and gave a bit more space in the divide right here. And then the other change I did was that I changed the shaping on the top of the mitten. So it kind of follows the shape of your hand, if you can, yeah. So it actually fits really well. There is no excess fabric or anything like that. And I think this shaping would look different on everybody's hands too, because everybody's hands are different. And for me, for instance, my nails are like reaching 9 to 5 length because I need to get them done again, but I do not want to go to the nail salon and be that close to anybody. So yeah, anyway, my nails are getting too long. So yeah, I love it. The yarn that I'm using is this beautiful green. This is Ancient Arts Fiber Arts, which I love. Ancient Arts yarns, and this is their Last Cow Fine yarn, which is a combo. It's a combination of yarns. Let me see what it says. It is, I have the label. It's 25% Manx log tan and 75% Punta Arenas wool. Fingering weight, roughly, it's 385 yards, 350 meters. Yeah, I'm kind of, oh, this is gonna blow out no matter what, whatever. I really love this yarn. It's super warm. And then the mohair I'm holding it with, again, it's blowing out like crazy. Okay, here, this is a good color representation. This is Hedgehog Fibers, and it's their silk mohair, and the colorway is UFO. But I find it's a really nice version of this colorway. It's like a lot more yellow and acidy than it would be. Oh, sorry, I just have like messages popping up on my phone. Somebody I work with just said that they worked today at the library, and they said that it was a lot busier than they thought it was going to be, and their library was filled with old people. Imagine that. Anyway, people gotta get their books. So yeah, I'm super in to this strange mitten, and if I can get the pattern going, then it'll be available to you guys soon. Yeah, and if you have access to any of that conductive thread, like the metal thread, I think Knit Picks sells it. You can sew it into the tip of the finger and the thumb. Yeah, panic book lending. I mean, I would maybe go the ebook route myself. That's just me, but one of the bookshops that I love here in town, they're offering a free book delivery so that you order their book and then they will deliver it to your house, which is really nice. There's a lot of small local shops that are doing that here for people that can't leave, and which is really nice. And I've also I made the realization that I think if I have to go shopping again to get groceries or anything like that, I'm not going to go to a big grocery store. I'm going to go to one of the smaller grocery stores or even the farmer's market. Yeah, I know, right? I have tons of books too. Yeah. What are some other things? I did a bunch of sewing recently. I did the sewing that I did a lot of a couple of weeks ago, were pencil skirts. Oh shit, I meant to grab that book. Ah, it's over there. Oh yeah, spud. I could do that, but you know what? We're good for groceries right now. I picked up some fruit yesterday, which is like the big thing. I'm a huge fruit eater, and we had run out. All we had were like 3 sad looking kiwi fruit. So I got some fruit, and we do HelloFresh. So we get meals, like that meal preparing service thing. We get that delivered every Tuesday. So yeah, we at least have 3 meals that are good, and then I have my, as I've been calling it, my bougie smoothie. My bougie smoothie delivery is coming on Thursday, which will be good. And I ordered 24 smoothies, but I think I ended up with like 18 smoothies, pre-made smoothies. So all you have to do is add your own liquid to it and then blend it up. And then I have, there are like oatmeal bowls that come with it too that have all sorts of really great flavors with it. So yeah, I have those coming. So I'm good for food for the time being. Sewing though, I really want to do more sewing. And I'm liking how I'm so grateful that the light has corrected itself now and I look more normal. I started sewing pencil skirts recently. I'm not going to bring them all out because I made 5. But I am wearing one of them, the first one that I did. And the pencil skirt pattern, because I've been thinking about silhouettes and stuff that I love, and I really love the pencil skirt silhouette with a cropped top. That's like my favorite look. I only had one like below the knee pencil skirt. I had 2 of them in my closet, but due to reasons, they don't really fit me that well anymore. And so I'm like, well, and I wanted some other colors and stuff too, because they were both secondhand. I got them, they were thrifted, and I got them, yeah, one of them had like a bit of a tear in them, but yeah, because I don't know if everybody follows my Instagram and knows kind of why I've been so sick. I think that's actually one of the reasons why I lost weight, is because I had such a low B12 levels, and yeah, as a result of low B12 and stuff, it kind of causes you to lose your appetite and to like consequently lose weight and stuff. So, and you combine that with like working really hard and doing 25,000 steps a day kind of crap, that's what happens. So I have these skirts that don't fit anymore, and I wanted to be considerate of a new wardrobe and building a me-made wardrobe and all this stuff. So pencil skirts it is, but I want pencil skirts that are comfortable so that it kind of feels like secret pajamas is what I want. So I was looking through my own patterns that I have, and I have this book. It's the Gertie Sews Vintage Casual book that I got at the bookstore 5 years ago, I guess. I guess it was 5 years ago. Something like that. When was it published? I don't know. It was published like 5 or 6 years ago. And I bought it when I thought I wanted to start sewing, but I didn't have the confidence or the skills to actually start. So it's just been kind of sitting on my bookshelf and haven't been doing anything with it. And I have patterns in there, and then all of the actual sewing patterns are included inside. So you have like all of the patterns right here. And so I've been tracing them out onto my Swedish tracing paper. And the pattern that I've used in this the most is for the Easy Knit pencil skirt, which, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Where is it? I want to show you a picture of it. Oh my gosh, sorry guys. I'm getting there. Other skirts, other skirts, skirts and shirts, skirts and shirts, and pants. So here we go. Easy knit pencil skirt right there. So this is the pattern that I chose. The downside about this book is that it's not very size inclusive. So I think the largest size anything goes up to might be like a 48-inch, maybe. 48-inch waist, something like that. Like it's not that great. And anyway, they had I cut out the pieces for the pattern. I cut out, this is the size 10, and that I made, and I elongated it by about 2 inches, almost, no, 3 inches. I elongated it by 3 inches. I'm just like, because I would take my ruler and I would essentially, yeah, 3 inches. I just put this at the bottom of the skirt and then traced it down 3 extra inches. So it comes, all of the skirts come just below my knee. I did not add a slit to it. So it kind of makes me walk around like a penguin sometimes, which I kind of like. And yeah, this is the first one that, let me see. I don't know. You can kind of see the first one. I mean, you can't really see anything. You can just see it sits up really high, so I let it sit up like right at my natural waist is about right there. And I don't know. See, I can't even lift my leg. This is getting ridiculous. You get the point. What's cool about this though is that the top of it, there's no seam line or anything where the elastic is. So the elastic is actually just in there like that. And it's stitched. It's just stitched right at the top. And then you fold it down like that so that it kind of sits flat in theory right around. And yeah, it's incredibly comfortable. You stitch in the ditch right there to kind of keep it in place. But it's incredibly comfortable. It's so comfortable. Oop. Hello again. Yeah, so I made the fabric I used for this. It's a like cotton and bamboo sort of sweatshirt material. It's like fleece on the inside. You can kind of, okay, we're gonna get inappropriate here. It's like, can you see? It's like fuzzy on the inside. It's incredibly comfortable. And I had initially actually partially sewn this fabric into a dress already, but because the fabric was so heavy, and the dress I was trying to sew, which was the Tamara, yeah, no, it totally, it's this thing will grow with you. So I've been known to eat an entire loaf of bread in one sitting, and this will move with you. So yeah, it's incredibly comfortable, and I find it's like pencil skirts I used to stay away from for a long time because I used to, yeah, the idea for the elastic, it's awesome, right? I used to stay away from this silhouette because I used to be super self-conscious about the way that it made my belly look, and because like you see, really, you know, you grow up in this stupid, you know, ideals of bodies and all this stuff, and I'm like, I can't wear a pencil skirt because I have a stomach, and da 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 da, and only like people with really flat stomachs can wear pencil skirts. I can only wear A-line, so it hides my belly and all this stuff. Anyway, I've reached the point in my life where I don't care, and I actually love having my little pillow of a belly showcased in a pencil skirt, and I think it looks really awesome, and the silhouette is great on everybody, and I don't understand why more people don't wear pencil skirts, because they look good on absolutely everybody. They really do, especially this one. It just sucks that it doesn't come in a wide size range. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend this book for this pattern. Someone was mentioning when I did the Instagram live today with Mackenzie that I think it's Patterns for Pirates have a pencil skirt pattern that is a bit more size inclusive. I haven't checked it out myself, but that might be another option if you're looking for it. So yeah, I've made this skirt, and because I was salvaging the fabric, it has a seam down the back, like down the middle in the back, which I don't mind. It's actually great because it helps to remind me which is the front and which is the back, because this pattern is only like 2 pieces, like literally 2 seams, that's it. And yes, so I made 4 more. I made 3 more out of the same kind of sweatshirt material. So it's just really comfy, super, super comfy. And then I made another one out of this sort of heavy, it's like a magenta heavy boucle wool. So it doesn't really have too much stretch to it, but it's super, super warm. So it's great for like, you know, really gross winter days like we're having right now. And I've been wearing them to work. I have like my goal, like I've already achieved my goal. I have one for every day for work. I basically have a uniform, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a work uniform, a me-made work uniform. Speaking of which, I have more fabric to do another one. The fabric that I got from Rick Rack is this stuff here. So good. And so I got, oh, but I should mention this skirt pattern takes very little fabric. Like, I think I used 1.5 meters. Oh, from cutting out the pieces to sewing it, 2 hours, less, 1.5 hours. It depends. If I had a serger, it would go even faster, because depending on what kind of fabric I'm using, I've been finishing off the edges inside just with my overlock foot. But yeah, it's like I finished a skirt like one morning before I went to work. Like, that's how fast this goes. And I don't need to look at the instructions or anything anymore because I've made them so much, which is really awesome. But yeah, this fabric here, it's a knit, and it reminds me of like a giraffe print, and I just love the color. The color is coming off pretty accurate. It's like this lovely raspberry wine color. And my idea with this is, let me show you the wrong side. The wrong side here has a little bit of stretch, not too much stretch. So that's what will make it really good for a skirt. I'm going to make a skirt out of this, and then I'm going to do a coordinating top with it, because doing the coordinating separates makes it look like, for work and for looking like a professional librarian type person, I find doing those separates, coordinating separates, just makes me feel really pulled together. And the best part is it's secret pajamas. This entire thing are secret pajamas. It's so comfy. So comfy. This fabric's great. I'm still struggling on finding good tops to sew, crop tops. I had been making the, what is it, the plantain tee from Deer and Doe, which I don't mind. I actually like, it's a nice scoop neck, but I've been making it out of fabric that is probably not the best suited fabric, and I keep making my seams too deep so everything fits a little too tight, which is just totally my mistake and not the pattern's mistake. But I'm trying to find different things to sew with, different patterns, different shapes. And so the last time I was at the knitting store and I picked up some fabric, I picked up a copy of this paper cut pattern, and this is the pinnacle top slash sweater. You can kind of, here we go. And it's like, this is exactly the silhouette that I want. This is the shape that I want here. On the back, I don't know, I don't want it to blow out. Oh well. They have 3 variations of the pattern in this. So there's a variation 1 has a deep V in the front and a scoop back. And then variation 2 has like a scoop neck and then a tie, like a bow in the back of it, if you wanted. And then variation 3, so both of variation 1 and 2 are done with knit fabric, or not knit, woven fabric. And then variation 3, which has it pulled in on the cuffs and on the hem on the bottom, and is a round neck, that is done with knit fabric. So I thought this is a pretty good pattern. The silhouette I love. It's kind of like that boxy cropped type of thing. 3/4 length sleeves, which I love. I thought this is a good bang for my buck because I have a tendency when I sew, unlike, well no, I was about to say unlike when I'm knitting, but I've knit the damn Ursa sweater 3 times. But when I'm sewing, I will sew the same thing over and over and over again to kind of practice my skills at what I'm doing, but also like I'll choose different fabrics to make, you know, just to, if I know a shape works, I'm just going to keep doing it and just do different fabrics so it looks like I'm making different things, but I'm really not. So I'm going to give this a try. I might give this a try next week if I'm home longer and if I'm feeling up to it. I've been still napping a lot. I lose energy fairly quick and then I just nap. That's what I did this afternoon. And what I'll probably do after I'm done this video, I'll probably nap for a long time. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Skirt out of this and then a pinnacle sweater out of it as well, which I think will be really, really freaking cute. I think it'll look great. Let me put that there and put that there. Other fabric that I purchased, this is cotton and steel, I think. Is it cotton and steel? Yeah, it's cotton and steel. It's knit, it's a jersey right here. And this is a really great fabric too, so I think I might try making the top, the pinnacle top, out of this first before I dive into the coordinating fabric. Yeah, I really love it. I think this will go with a lot. It has like my favorite bright pink that I always like to have in everything that I do. And I think this will look great with everything. It's kind of like a fun little bit of fabric. I also went to, a little while ago, we went thrifting and I got some really great fabric when we were thrifting. And one of them I already sewed into a top, but it doesn't have a whole great deal of stretch, so I washed it today. I haven't tried it on to see if it shrank or did anything weird. I mean, it fits fine, but it's a little tight in the armpit because I didn't ease the seam allowances as much. Like I shouldn't have made my seam allowances as big as I did. The other fabric I got is this stuff here, and it's kind of like this purple. I love purple, if you can't tell. But there's like a lot of fabric. I got it at Goodwill. Was it Goodwill? Yeah, I got it at Goodwill for $3.99, I think, and there's probably about 2.5 meters in here, and it's a knit, yeah, it's a knit fabric, kind of like a heathered, this sort of light heathered purple. I'm going to make with this one I think I might try making the Kylo, I think it's called Kylo dress, which is, I can't remember who the pattern designer is for that, what company makes that one, but it's like a really beautiful dress. It's basically just like a tube dress with no sleeves, but I think they give you the option of making sleeves. And the great thing about it is that they have these really, really long ties that you just tie around your middle to give some kind of waist shaping, which is another one of my favorite ways of my favorite silhouettes, is that like that kind of sack looking like you're wearing a sleeping bag but with a belt. That's what I like. So I think I might do that out of this, just because it's like low commitment fabric. I have some other stuff too I got at Fabricland in their clearance section for like $1.99 a meter, and that one would make a good Kylo dress as well. I wish I had a picture of that pattern. It's pretty cool. So yeah, that's on my sewing dreams. But I did finish one sewing object really recently, and I have it right here, right there. So this is a cropped top. This is Seamwork Patterns. The pattern is called the Adria, I think, Adria top. The fabric is cotton and steel. It's 100% cotton, silk screened with this like really lovely gold shimmery goodness. It's so good. Let me put it on for you. I'm gonna put it on for you. Here we go. Oh yeah, it goes good with this yellow skirt too. Yeah. So this is the Adria, whatever, top from Seamwork. This is a little janky right here. It's a deep V. It's really, the sleeves are inset really strangely, so that no matter what, you're always like, everything's always coming up. I know, the gold is unreal, hey? I love this. I love this fabric. And it's not, it does kind of look white, but it's not actually white. It's kind of like this really, really, really pale whitish, oh my God, like fuzz up my nose. Like a really, really pale green, like super, super pale green. Yeah, I like the top. It has these darts right here, and there's darts on the back. It's like, in theory, the perfect length for, yeah, tank camisole. Yeah, that works, because it's like, this is perfect, like it's a perfect silhouette and everything for work, but you know, the minute it's like really, really short, I'm gonna be careful not to expose too much here. Yeah, so I mean, it would be great for work if I don't have to raise my arms above my head. And I also find that it's a little bit low too. Yeah, it would be nice over, yeah, over a jumper, over, yeah, like over some kind of dress or something like that. I think it would be really cute. That's something to keep in mind. I mean, like, I felt pretty good when I was sewing this because I'm not as confident putting in sleeves and stuff like that. And I think I did a pretty good job with the sleeves, and I chose the right size. So like everything fits, the proportions are great, but yeah, I think I would just need to wear a camisole underneath it, or maybe no, it's pronounced like it's like spelled Kielo, I think. Let me check my computer here. And I will tell you. My really rude sticker. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, kilo wrap dress. It's by Named Clothing. Let me get a good. Yeah, so the way that they have it styled, oh gosh, that's not gonna work. And I can't adjust the screen for the light. Yeah, Kielo wrap dress. Do a search for that and you will find it. Yeah, there's, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful one. This sewist did, she did the contrast with the ties around. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. It's like such good fabric. I don't know, can you kind of see? Oh, that looks so great. Oh my gosh, so good. Yes, so this pattern, I think like the kilo, whatever, dress will, I think you can do it in a woven, as long as the woven is drapey enough. So like you wouldn't be able to do it out of this cotton, for instance, but maybe something like a linen, something like a rayon or something like that. I have this really wacky rayon I bought on sale a couple of years ago, and I wanted to make a dress out of it, and yeah. Yeah, like in terms of this top, not enough fabric in the sleeve cap. Maybe. It's like, it's actually right down here. Like, it's just the way, when you look at the pattern, it like the armholes are like shaped really oddly. So it feels like everything is like pushed forward, and nowhere, you never see the model in the patterns like do anything with her arms aside from like this or this. Like she's not doing anything crazy like, hey, or whatever. I could totally be a model. Yes, so this top's done. This is actually a lot cooler than the Ursa sweater I was wearing, so I'm actually feeling pretty good. I made the mistake of putting on my, like the Ripple bralette by Jessie May on today, and so I'm just warm all over. Any hoodles. What else do I want to chat at you? I've been here for an hour, almost an hour and a half right now. which means I think I might end this soon because it's a little long. And I want to go eat my leftover mac and cheese. Yeah, so sewing and knitting and the books I'm reading right now, which if I'm not watching Netflix and Amazon Prime, I'm rewatching all of The Magicians, that series on TV right now, which I really love. I read the books a couple of years ago, so I'm rewatching that, and I'm also rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine because that's the only TV show that I can watch on repeat constantly, and it makes me laugh every single time. I like the first couple of seasons, there are some problematic things that happen in it. There are jokes and stuff in there that like would not fly now. And I mean, the show is not that old, but yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's so funny. It's the only show that makes me laugh a lot, and I've seen it so many times. But I'm listening to an audiobook right now. I'm listening to Clara Parks' The Vanishing Fleece right now on Scribd, which if you're looking for a distracting thing to listen to that will, it's like the equivalent to like, I don't know. You know what? So Kalisha of Quirky Monday Craftcast, she has the Just Feel Better shawl, which is like this great sort of granny stitch crocheted shawl, and it's like, you know, this sort of comfort thing that you make. The Vanishing Fleece is like the book version of that shawl. So like the thing that you would come to meditate and to be surrounded by squishy loveliness. That's what this book is like. The Vanishing Fleece, I'm late to the party on it, I guess. Clara Parks, she did this whole thing where she got a bale of wool from a wool producer, and then decided to follow it from like its whole production of getting cleaned and carded and spun and dyed and all that stuff. I'm gonna sneeze. Oh goodness. No, mother. Sorry. And the best thing about the audiobook is that Clara Parks reads it. So she has such a great reading voice, and it's sometimes I find when authors are the readers of their own books in an audiobook, it can be touch and go. Like, I like it when actors read audiobooks because, you know, they either you might have like different actors reading, so it kind of feels like you're in a radio play, and sometimes the author might not have that same capability, maybe. Clara, though, it's like listening to the best NPR podcast, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's been giving me so much joy since I've been listening to it. It's a fairly short audiobook, considering I think it's like only 9 hours long or something like that. It's wonderful, and it's been really great to listen to and to knit along with it, and listening to her talk about all of her experiences at the mills and talking about wool, and it's I don't know, it just feels really great. So if you're looking for an audiobook recommendation, that's my audiobook recommendation for this time around. Yeah. Tonight, though, I'm gonna pour myself another cup of coffee and heat up some mac and cheese if Ryan didn't already eat it. And did you eat the mac and cheese? Oh, he's not listening to me. Ooh, Sweater Quest. Ooh, I'm gonna look that up. Thanks for the recommendation. I like it. I use the Scribd app for listening to audiobooks, and they're limited to what knitting audiobooks they have on there. They have a couple of Stephanie Pearl McPhee's stuff, but I've read most of her books. I read them when they were published, so that would have been like early 2000s. Oh yeah, the flat share. That'll make your heart feel really good. The flat share. Oh, I love that one. I have like a paper book that I picked up on recommendation from somebody at work, right here, and it's Small Game Hunting at the Local Coward Gun Club, and it's by Megan Gale Coles, and I picked it up at the bookstore, and she says she's been saying it's really great, and it's kind of like, I think it has I'm not entirely sure exactly what it's about. She just said it's about Newfoundland. It takes place in Newfoundland, so I'm just like, sign me up. It's been a while since I read a book that took place in my hometown. So I'm looking forward to reading this one, and it's on the Canada Reads 2020 selection. So I think everybody's going to be reading this one. But yeah, that's my next book read. Oh, yes, the hardcover. Oh, I am into it. I am into it. Yeah. What is the other one I finished reading? I finished reading Queenie, and the author's name is escaping me. It's like Candace something. That one was really great, and it left a lasting impression on me. And when I read it, and it's deceptive. I kind of mentioned this, I think, in the last podcast episode, maybe, about how deceptive Queenie is, because nowhere really in all of the accolades and stuff that are on the book do they actually talk about the really deep things that book goes into, which is a lot of talking about race in microaggressions and white supremacy, as well as a lot of mental health, discussions of mental health. And it kind of caught me off guard when I was reading it, and which is a good and a bad thing. Like all the stuff about the anxiety stuff that happened in there, that hit really close to home for me, and it actually, I had to take a step back a little bit and really reflect on a lot of things when I read that book. I would recommend it to everybody. If you enjoy reading contemporary fiction that has a strong female protagonist, like, that's a really, really great book. But it is a hard book to read because Queenie makes a lot of really hard and in some cases poor decisions, and so sometimes you're yelling at her, being like, "Oh, honey, no, stop. Can I just give you a hug? Oh God," which is part of the point of the book. It's a hard book to read, and it's deceptive. So if you go and grab it thinking like what it says on the cover, where it's like it's an edgy urban Bridget Jones' Diary, that's not what it is. It's sure there are elements of that, but yeah, it's a really good one. It's an important read, I think, for sure. So that's the last book that I read, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to finish reading The Vanishing Fleece, and then I might get started on this one here, just to give my ears a break and read a book instead of listening to an audiobook. But yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna watch TV and stuff. Yeah, we need to all be sharing our books. Nice. Thanks for sharing, guys. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to figure out, I think, over the next like month, especially in North America, as like the pandemic kind of moves through all of our communities and stuff. Calgary has been fairly lucky so far, and I think in Canada we've been pretty lucky. We're trying to just get on top of everything before things get really scary. So it's even though like Alberta, where I live, we've only had 29 cases, confirmed cases. I think maybe it's gone up today. I don't know. But like the chances of contracting it right now are really, really low. But oh yeah. Oh, thanks. I will try to do more. It's a lot less effort on my part to do things like this. I don't need to edit a damn video. Um, yes, so yeah, people are just taking a lot of precautions to make sure that the spread of this stuff doesn't get too bad. And yeah, so we're going to be home a lot. All of us are going to be home a lot. And maybe we just need to be doing more super rad things like this, where you're sitting around doing live videos. I hope that all of our favorite podcasters, or maybe you've been thinking about doing a podcast, you just haven't done it yet. Maybe this is a good time to do it, because you're going to be home anyway. Oh, Dread Nation? No, I haven't. I'm going to write that down. Write that down on a notebook. Where's my pen? I've never heard. Oh. I'm going to write Dread Nation. I think I've heard of that. Oh. Ooh, wooden overcoats? I'm just writing this down, so sorry if I miss your... if I miss any comments. Ooh, I was listening to a podcast, a new one. I started listening to it yesterday, or it might have been the day before, and then I just kept falling asleep because, not that the podcast was boring, it's just that I'm sick. Thank you. But the other podcast I was listening to, it's a new one. I'm listening to it on Spotify. It's from the Parcast network, and it's called Supernatural. And it's kind of like, if you like listening to true crime podcasts, it's kind of done in that same vein, but it's not necessarily true crime. It's all about the supernatural. And so they'll take like these weird cases of things happening and investigate it the same way that a lot of true crime podcasts would do it. Yeah, so it's called Supernatural. Not like the TV show, but the podcast, Supernatural. The first episode is so good. Oh yeah, the girl with all the gifts. Oh, that book was great. The movie was pretty good too. The book was better. Yeah, that's an appropriate read for right now too, hey? Anything that's about like zombies. But yeah, the Supernatural podcast, the first episode was about this like event that happened in the 50s, I guess, in Brazil. And they found the bodies of two men in the woods that were like very smartly dressed, and they were just lying there, and they were wearing glasses made completely out of lead, and their bodies were like in perfect condition, but they had been dead for 3 days. And yeah. Oh yeah, I know, it was so creepy, isn't it? Yeah, it's I really enjoyed that episode. And then the second one was about alien abduction, and I fell asleep during that one, admittedly, so I need to listen to it again. The episodes are fairly short. I think they're like a half an hour or something like that. Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, I'm gonna stop this now. Otherwise, I can just keep talking and talking until the end of time because I'm like that. I'm obviously deprived of social interaction because of how much talking I'm doing. But I know I'm gonna be worn out as soon as I turn this off. I'm just gonna end up falling asleep. Uh, um, yeah, I love doing these kind of live things, and I think I might do them again. And maybe for the next little bit, this is what my podcast is going to be, is a live video like this. And I'll figure out a better way to keep track of comments. I might bring my computer out or something so I can see your comments, because the way that I'm doing it, it only pops up whenever anybody makes a comment. It just comes up really fast and then goes away. So I can't read them all. But I'm also thinking about doing some more Instagram lives. So Instagram Live is really fun because you can bring in other people to do it. So yeah, I think we should be doing more of those and having like a fun interactive knit day, knit chat and stuff with friends. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. So you can follow me on the gram, which I'm pretty sure everybody is anyway. But yes, that's, yeah, I'm going to stop now. I want to thank you all for tuning in on this Saturday evening. I'm just like looking out. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here, Sonia. Thank you all for being here. And it's like right as I end this, the light is like perfect in here. Murphy's Law. So, yeah. Good night, everybody. Good night, good night, good night. Sleep well, stay safe, stay healthy, watch something good on TV, have fun knitting, and we'll check in with you later on the flip side. Keep being magic, everybody. Bye.